Hey, how you doing, folks? My name is Rich, and it looks like you stumbled onto my channel, the Head and Neck Cancer Strategy Group, and I want to welcome you. And if you're here, chances are you've been just diagnosed with some type of head and neck cancer, or you're being treated right now for it, or you're in remission and you're trying to see what kind of fool I'm going to make of myself here, right? Well, guys, my story goes like this. Um, Around last fall, I got a sinus infection, which was pretty typical for me in the fall with the change of seasons and everything else. I tend to get a sinus infection once or twice a year. Um, my lymph node swelled up all 9 yards. I went to the doctors. They put me on antibiotics. About a week later, I felt better, but the lymph node was still swollen, and I found that to be a little unusual. That's typically not how things work with me. Usually, when I'm on antibiotics, that'll go away, and you know, I move on. They told me to put a warm compress on it. It could take months for it to go down. Well, I didn't like that answer, so I made an appointment with my primary care doctor, and Jody, my doctor, did not like that, and started a battery of tests. My blood work came back fine. Um, Showed that I was a healthy adult. She didn't like that. She said she's looking beyond it, and they ordered a CAT scan. Showed something. Next was a fine needle biopsy under ultrasound, and I did not care for that doctor. I'll tell you what, man. That doctor and I just didn't like him. He really hacked up my neck. My neck was all swollen afterwards. I had to go back. They thought the guy may have hit an artery. Um, about a week later, I get the test results, and the test results shown that it was 99.9% sure that it was squamous cell carcinoma. Well, you know, from there, I was basically sent to an ENT doctor, like most of you are probably going to yourself. And the ENT then did what they call a scope on me, where they go up your nose and down your throat. This dude was convinced that the lymph node was just a secondary, and that the cancer was somewhere in here, in that area. Um, he found it. It was on the base of my tongue. He said it was a small tumor. He then recommended me to another ENT, who basically from there, he thought I was going to be a good candidate for robotic surgery, which was a new way of going about um, taking care of this kind of stuff. The next day, I had an appointment with that doctor. That doctor said that it'd be a little bit tough to get to and suggested that I go with chemo and radiation. Um, so that was all starting to be in the process. Um, I want to make it known to you guys that when you go to your doctor's appointments, there's a lot of information. I would suggest you ask your doctors if you could tape your conversations. It's an awesome way to get all the information that was told to you during your appointments so that you can then sit down with your wife, your family members, your friends, to get them involved, to know what's going on with you. From there, anyways, I was told I needed to go see a dentist, make a dentist appointment. That I had to have any dental work done before my treatment because radiation would just destroy. I found out afterwards, they didn't tell me that then, but the radiation will destroy your jawbone and make it almost impossible for healing to occur. If you were like have to have a tooth pulled or something, let's say during your treatments, you'd have a lot of problems arise from it. So they try to avoid those problems by having you go to a dentist. Um, Once the dentist appointment is done, you're ready to go. Usually about a week to 2 weeks before your first radiation appointment, you're meeting with your oncologist, and the oncologist for chemo basically, we were going to go with Erbitex, which is basically it's a little bit different than your regular chemo. It's called immune therapy, which is basically a drug that allows your body to basically beat up the cancer itself. There are some side effects with Herbitrex, but the side effects are they're pretty they're a nuisance while you're on it, as far as skin irritations go and stuff like that. But long term, you won't have any effects from it. Versus cisplatin well, there's some problems you can have from cisplatin. Generally, they tell you that if you're a healthy adult like I was, they said that your body will be able to take care of it. You won't have any problems. You'll bounce back, no problem at all. And that's how that goes. But I was going to do Herbitrex. And then a week before I was going to take my Herbitrex, the guy called up and said, look, we can take care of your cancer with just radiation. There's no need to put you through any added stress. It's shown through data and everything else that the kind of cancer that we're aiming for here is very well tolerated by just radiation alone, and we can assume that you'll have the same outcome as if you were to have Herbitrex. So I took a second opinion, and the second opinion wanted to give me cisplatin. So I tried cisplatin. We'll go about that later. But the next step was to have this made up. This is your radiation mask, okay? You're laying basically down like this, and they bolt that to the table. This is going in the garbage, my friends. I don't want any reminders of that. I don't even know why I took it with me. Some people like to turn theirs into artwork, hanging on their walls. That's not me, folks. I was going to bring mine to the gun range and shoot the living crap out of it, but I don't even want to go there. I just want to throw this out, and after today, that is going to be history, okay? You do with yours as you want to do. More power to you, all right? But I don't want no remembrance of my radiation therapies. It's a nightmare, folks. I'm going to be honest with you. I had to be drugged every day in order to sit on that table, to lay on that table. I broke 2 of those masks trying to get the damn thing made. So I had to take a drug to calm me down for anxiety every freaking day for weeks while I went there. Some people have to have that. Some people are fine. You may be fine. You may have been fine. I wasn't fine. So with that said, once you get to all that point, your radiation will start usually the same day. If you're having cisplatin, it's usually the same day. You usually have your radiation and then cisplatin to follow. That's how it was for me. And I only had 1 mega dose of cisplatin. We decided it was best that I stopped because of the ringing in the ears. Me being a truck driver, that wasn't a good thing. I was scared of going deaf. That's one of the side effects that you could have from cisplatin, is you could go deaf. But we'll talk about the next stage after everything started and what I did going forward in the next video. But that's what you can expect from now. So the most important thing to get out of this video is information. Talk to your doctor about tape recording your conversations. If you can't, bring a pen and paper with you and write down as much information as you can. There's a lot of decisions that you're going to have to make, and you want to make the right ones. Your mind's going to be going a mile a minute. It probably is a mile a minute right now. There's probably a lot of weird things going around in your head. The one thing I want to tell you is you'll be all right, man. If you do what the doctors say, once things are done, you give it some time. All right, your body's a wonderful healing machine. You'll bounce back. You're going to have some long-term effects, granted. It's going to suck, but, you're going to be alive. But, some people do better than others. I did a lot better than most people do. I'm lucky. A lot of people aren't so lucky. But we'll talk about other things going forward. I hope this helps you today, and you guys have a good day. I love you all, man. Praise God, man. God is great.